Hi again, friends. It's Miss Jillian, one of the speech language pathologists over at the Early Childhood Center. And today I wanted to read Goodnight, Gorrilla with all of you. So one of the strategies that we use in speech language therapy is something that we call dialogic reading. So for parents, you can feel free to do this with any book with your child at home. So not only are we reading the words that the author wrote in the book, but we're expanding upon those and maybe making some comments throughout our reading experience or asking our children some questions about the reading and what's going on in the pictures. So feel free to grab your favorite book at home and have some fun with that. So here we go with Goodnight, Gorrilla by Peggy Rathman. I see the zookeeper in his green shirt and pants. And uh-oh, I see the gorilla. Let's see what happens. Good night, gorilla. Good night, gorilla, says the zookeeper. Uh-oh, the gorilla is touching the keys. The gorilla is walking out of his cage. I wonder what will happen. Good night, elephant, says the zookeeper. What do you think will happen next? The gorilla is helping the lion out of his cage. Good night, lion, says the zookeeper. Do you think the zookeeper knows that the gorilla is opening the cage doors? Look, the elephant is out of his cage. Good night, hyena. Good night, giraffe, says the zookeeper. More animals are coming out of their cages. I see the elephant, the lion, the hyena, and the giraffe. The gorilla opened the cage doors. Do you see something? I also see a little mouse holding the banana. Let's see what comes next. Good night, armadillo, says the zookeeper. Well, the zookeeper is going home. He is done with his day at the zoo. Do you think he knows that all the animals are following him home? Look, the zookeeper's opening the door to go in his house. But he's followed by the mouse and the gorilla and the elephant and the lion and the hyena and the giraffe and the armadillo. Uh-oh, they're leaving the zoo. The animals are in the zookeeper's house. The animals are in the zookeeper's bedroom. I see his wife. She is sleeping. I wonder if the zookeeper knows all of those animals are in his house. What do you think? Good night, dear, says the zookeeper's wife. Ah, it looks like all of the animals' eyes are closed. They are ready to go to sleep. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. The zookeeper's wife wakes up. I see her eyes open. Ooh, how do you think she feels? She looks surprised to see so many animals in her bedroom. It looks like the zookeeper's wife is walking the animals back to the zoo. Go back to the zoo, gorilla, and elephant, and lion, and hyena, giraffe, mouse, and armadillo. You need to go back to the zoo to go to sleep. Good night, zoo, says the zookeeper's wife. Uh-oh, I see the gorilla. He has the keys and he's saying, shh. Do you think the zookeeper's wife knows that the gorilla is behind her? What do you think? Ah, good night, dear. Good night, says the zookeeper. Uh-oh, I see something at the foot of their bed. 2 feet and a little tail and a banana. Good night, gorilla, says the mouse. Shh, the gorilla is sleeping. Looks like they're all asleep. Good night. I hope you had fun listening to that story and reading with me. It was fun to see what all of the animals did. They went from the zoo to the zookeeper's house. And the zookeeper's wife was very surprised to see all of the animals in her bedroom. So she took them back to the zoo. But then the gorilla followed her home again. It looks like she didn't know that he did that. And so they went to bed anyway. Which animal was your favorite? My favorite is the giraffe. I hope you have a good night and I'll see you soon.